Hi everyone, so welcome back, and in this video we are going to start building the backend. Okay, yesterday we actually had one thing left. o- that was the avatar component. Okay, input component. We'll actually complete it when we'll be implementing the user profile. Okay, so let's now actually begin with the backend. So what I'm going to do here is we first need to actually create our project. So for that I have opened up my terminal. Okay, and here I'm just going to navigate with my project directory. Okay, I haven't created any project yet, so I'm just going to create a new folder. Okay, I'll name it chat server. Okay, so now my folder is created. I'm just going to navigate inside it. Okay, chat server. Then I'm just going to open this in my code editor, VS Code. Okay, so yeah, so now this is open, and before starting up I'm just going to talk about the tech stack that we'll be using to create our backend. Okay, so for the we are going to actually make use of nodejs, okay, along with express to set up our server. And so let's now actually begin with initializing this project. So first thing that I'm going to do is open the terminal inside this code editor. Okay, or you can also make use of this outside terminal, okay, if you want. Now here the first thing that I'm going to do is to initialize npm. Okay, so that's why I'm going to write here npm init. Okay, so we are just going to keep our package name to chat server. Okay, as you can see here, let me collapse this one. Okay, you can press enter. Then we'll keep our version to 1. Okay, for now I'm not going to add any description to it. Okay, so again enter. Entry point, this is going to be server.js. Okay, I'm just editing it, and test command will set it up later. Git repository, okay, we'll add that remote. And keywords, I'm not going to add any keywords right now. License, let's keep it to ISC, and then you can press yes here. Okay, and then our, as you can see, we have this package JSON. Okay, so we are ready to install any dependencies in our project. So I'm just going to again zoom this out. Okay, now the next thing that we are going to do here is to create our server.js file. Okay, this will be the main entry point as we have just defined inside our package JSON, as you can see here. Okay, and soon we will also add a start command here. Okay, to start our server. But before that we first need to create an express app. And even before setting up our app, I just want to like let you know that we are going to use express, and express is just a framework which is built on top of nodejs. Okay, and it is going to make very like operations in nodejs very simple for us. Okay, so now we know that we are going to just start with our app setup. So the first thing that we are going to need here is the express dependency. Okay, so I'm just going to write here const express is equal to require express. Okay, so this is how we import packages in a CommonJS module. Okay, so this is a server side code. Okay, this is a CommonJS module, and we have to import it like this using the require statement. And I'm just also going to write some comment here so that you can refer back to it. Okay, this code will be posted to the GitHub, and link will be shared in the Discord group, so make sure you join that. Okay, all the links will be given in the description. So express is just a web framework which is built for nodejs. Okay, now how we are actually going to create our app, and that is very simple. We just need to write like this: app is equal to express. Okay, we just need to simply call this express, and our app will be created. So now we can actually perform certain operations. Okay, like adding middlewares on top of it. And if you don't know middlewares, then I'm just going to explain that, okay, shortly. But before that, I'm also going to actually add few other packages here. So the next one is going to be Morgan. and let me show it to you, okay, what it basically going to do for us. So you can visit this npm.js website, okay, and if you guys have any question, then you can put it up in the live chat, okay, I'll be answering them. So let's talk about this package called Morgan, okay. So what it's basically going to do, like whenever we send a request to our server, okay, and our server is running, then we will be able to see like what endpoint was hit, okay, what is the response that we sent, how much time it took, okay, all those logging information will be available to us inside terminal, and that is actually very useful while developing any server side application, okay. So that is why we are going to make use of this Morgan package. So I'm just going to write it here like this, and now let's actually do one thing. We are just going to install Express and Morgan, okay. So I'm going to write here npm I express, okay, and after a space you can write this Morgan. So now after these packages are installed, okay, now we can actually safely export this app from this app.js file, okay. So we just need to write this export statement here, okay. We'll be writing module.exports is equal to app. This is how we are going to export things in node.js, okay, or in common.js module basically. Now our app is ready and we can actually use it to initialize a server, okay. So let's see how we can do that. So first of all, we just need to import this app, okay, that we created inside this app.js file, and then we exported it, okay. So I'm just going to write this statement, const app is equal to require, okay, then we can give the path for our app here, okay, like this. Then the next thing that we are going to need here is the HTTP module, and this is because we are creating an HTTP server here, okay. So this package is actually going to come along with node.js, okay. So if you have node.js installed on your machine, then you don't need to actually npm I HTTP, okay, that is already available to you, okay, inside your computer. Now after this we can create a server using this HTTP package and this app, okay. So that is actually very simple. We just need to, like we have said, we are creating a server, and the actual way to create it is to just call this create server method, which is present on this HTTP module, okay, and we can pass our express app inside it like this, okay. So now we have done one thing. We have created our express app, and then we have also created an HTTP server using this express app. So the next thing is to actually listen, okay, like start the server, okay. So what we are going to do, we just need to call this listen method on this server that we just created, okay. This is actually going to start our server on certain port. So here this port is basically going to be something like 3000, 5000, okay. These are the ports that are available on your computer, okay. So we'll be connecting to one of these ports, okay, and let's actually write port here. We'll be defining it using the environment variable, okay. Now we just need to pass this port, okay. Actually this is the bare minimum code that you need to write in order to listen to a server, listen on a server, okay, at a certain port. But when the server is actually started listening, we can pass a callback here, okay, and in this callback we can like console log some message so that we know that the app has started listening, okay. So we are just going to print out this message in the terminal, app is running on port, okay, and then we can just refer to this port variable that we'll be defining, okay. So let's now actually define what this port value is going to be, okay. I hope you guys are enjoying this, and if you have any doubt, then you can just post it in the live chat, okay. So for the port, I'm just going to write port is equal to process dot environment dot port, okay. So what this statement is basically doing, like we'll be creating a file here, okay, and we'll just call it config.env. The only thing that matters is that this file should end with this extension .env. Now any variable that we'll be defining here, like this port is equal to 3000, okay, then we can access that inside any of our file in this project, okay. And so we have defined this port, okay, just this variable, and to actually refer to that we have to call this process.env.port, okay. And let's assume if the port is not defined, okay, due to some reason inside our config.env, then we are going to default back to 8000, okay. So this will be the fallback port. Now if you save this, okay, and if you go to your terminal and write node and then server.js, okay, make sure you don't make any mistake in this command, okay. The only thing that this command is going to do is to start a node process, and the entry point for that process is going to be server.js, okay. So let's now hit enter, okay, and now you can see that we get this message, app is running on port 8000. So that means we have successfully created an express app, and this is now listening for the request on port 8000, okay, listening for the HTTP request. Let me see if there are any questions, okay. Yeah, no questions, okay, then we are going to just continue. So now we have set it up our basic app. Then the next thing that we can do here is to actually add other middlewares, okay, which are going to make our application secure and ready to use. So this package that we just imported, Morgan, okay, we are now going to make use of it. But before doing that, I'm just going to leave a comment here, okay, so that you can understand what this is going to do, okay. So as we just saw on the npm.js website, okay, as you can see here, this is just a HTTP request logger middleware for Node.js, okay, and you will be seeing it in action very soon, okay. For now I'm just going to leave this comment here, okay. Now the next thing is to, like, we are going to make our application secure. So we are going to actually add some things here, okay, packages which will be doing those operations for us. So the first very common way of attacking any server is to, like, create a bot and make an request on any public endpoint, okay, repeatedly. So in that way the server will be very busy, okay, if you make request at a very high rate, okay. So that may like result in crashing the server. So to prevent that, we have to, like, implement some kind of rate limiting. By rate limiting I mean that from a particular IP in an hour we have to limit, like, there can be maximum 10,000 requests. If we have received 10,000 requests in an hour from a certain IP, then we'll block it for 1 hour, okay. No request will be entertained from that for another hour. So for that we can use this package which is called express rate limit, okay. You can search for it on npm, okay, express rate limit. So now you will get this search result, and here you can see this is a rate limiting middleware for express, okay, and this is used to limit the repeated request to the public endpoints, okay. So we just going to use that express rate limit. Now I'll actually write some comments here, okay, after this stream is over, and then I'll post this code to the GitHub, okay, and the link will be shared in the description and on the Discord channel as well. Now the next thing that we are going to implement here is helmet, okay, and what this package helmet is going to do for us, this is again from a security perspective, okay. Whenever we send a response back, okay, like whenever an HTTP request comes into our server and then we send a response, then we have to set up some headers in the response that we send, okay, and we are not going to do that again and again for each and every request. So that task can be handled using this package called helmet. So let's search for it on npm.js. So you can just type its name and you will see that here in the documentation it says this is going to secure your express app by setting up various HTTP headers. Okay, so here in the, if you scroll down, you can find the list of headers that it sets by default. Okay, like all these headers are from a security perspective, and if you want to add any extra header, then you can do that using this code block. And if you want to disable one of these default headers, then also you can do that by using this code block. Okay, so I hope that helps. Okay, so I'll be just again writing a comment here, and I'll list out all the headers that it is going to set for us. Then the next package that we'll be using here is to sanitize the data that will be coming from the user. And what I mean by sanitization is that if you have learned MongoDB, then you must know that there are some operators, okay, which starts from the $sign, okay, and that can actually do various operations on our data. Okay, so if a user like adds some script, okay, in the request or in the user input that we collect through forms or any other things, then that may result into like unexpectedly updating any record or deleting any record or creating any new record. So to prevent that, okay, we are going to sanitize the data that will be coming from the user. Okay, so for that purpose we have this package which is called Mongo Sanitize. Okay, or basically it's called Express Mongo Sanitize. Okay, let me correct its name, Express Mongo Sanitize. Yeah, this one. Okay, so we are just going to again npmi that. Okay, first of all let's actually import that here. So Mongo Sanitize require. Okay, this might be boring, okay, at the start, but you'll see that these are very important things, okay, to be implemented in any server application. Okay, this is going to make your application like fail proof. Okay, their attackers might not be able to take benefit of it. Okay, if you haven't implemented these things, then your server might be at risk. So that is why I'm teaching all these things here. Okay, after this we are just going to get few very basic packages, okay, that are needed in every Express application basically to work with. Okay, so the next package that we are going to use is body parser. Okay, and body parser's task is basically very simple. It is just going to parse whatever the request body that we get before it is handled by any other handler inside our server. Okay, so for that we're just going to write this require statement again. Here we'll be using this package from npm which is body parser. Okay, now after this let's actually use all of these packages that we have imported here. Okay, after that we'll need to get few more packages like course, okay, cookie parser and session. So before that let me make use of these packages that we have already imported. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do here is like you can add any middleware. Okay, middleware is like a step between any, like whenever a request is received, okay, it is going to be processed by many handlers in our application. Okay, and each middleware, okay, whenever I say middleware is that handler. Okay, there can be multiple middlewares which will be used in any of the request. Okay, so to add any middleware to our application, we just have to call this method use, okay, on the Express app that we created. Now here I'm just going to pass express. Okay, then I'm going to call this method JSON on it. Okay, then here we can like limit the amount of data that we can receive with each request. Okay, so by default this limit is going to be 100 KB. Okay, we are just setting it up to 10 KB. Okay, and similarly I'm just going to add another middleware, and that will be body parser. Okay, and the use of this body parser is very simple. It is just going to return a middleware that will parse the JSON data, okay, that will be coming inside our app. And then again we have to write again body parser, and there can be this URL encoded data also that will be incoming inside our application. So for that we have to set up this parser, right? Now after that we can just call this app.use helmet. Okay, as I just explained, this is going to set up various headers in the response. Okay, then this Morgan, which is basically a HTTP logger, okay, we can make use of that, but I don't want to like log requests when our app is running in the production mode. So for that I'm just going to write a condition here, okay, an if statement. So what this if statement is basically going to do is it is going to check if the environment, okay, that our app is running in, okay, if the environment is, we can access the environment using this node_env variable. Okay, if its value is equals to development, okay, then we are going to use this middleware, okay, Morgan here. So we just need to call it and then pass this dev. Okay, so this dev is basically an option that we can pass. Okay, so what it's going to actually convey to Morgan is that we are in the development mode and we have to get as much information as we can get for each and every request. Okay, so that is going to basically log all of the requests that we'll be getting, right? I hope this is clear to you. Okay, if there are any doubts, you can post that in the comment, okay, or in the live chat, or you can also join the Discord channel. Okay, so after this we are going to create this rate limiter. Okay, as I just talked, if a person just creates a bot and that starts sending HTTP requests to any public endpoint, okay, then that might actually result in crashing our server. So to prevent that, we are going to limit the amount of requests that each IP can send in a particular time frame. Okay, so here we are going to define certain parameters. So the first one is going to be the max. Max denotes how many requests we can receive. Okay, and to denote the time, okay, I'm just going to write window ms. Okay, you can actually explore all of these options which are available in its documentation on npm. So this window is going to be basically denoting, here ms means milliseconds, so we are going to write the time in milliseconds. Okay, so I'm just going to write 1 hour. Okay, so this is 1 hour. So in 1 hour we are just going to limit our users to send up to 3000 requests, and in case due to like if a user exceeds this limit, okay, in this time frame, then we can send some error message to the user. Okay, and we can just type that message using this variable. So we are going to say too many requests. Okay, too many requests from this IP, please try again in 1 hour. Okay, so we can send this message back to our user if they try to take benefit of, like, if we haven't implemented this IP logic here, then our API can be exploited. Now to use this limiter, okay, let me correct its name to limiter. To use this, we just need to type the path here. Okay, like this can be anything, so I'm just going to write here talk. So this means anything or any request that will be incoming that will start with talk. So, okay, we'll be ensuring that, and any request that starts with /talk, okay, on that request this limiter will be implemented, right? Now after this I'm just going to again use this express, okay, express module that we imported. So I'm just going to write express.url encoded. Okay, this is again a body parser. Sorry, it is going to return a middleware that is only going to pass the URL encoded bodies. Okay, so here I will write extended. This is an option that we can pass here. Okay, to true. Now after this we just need to make use of the Mongoose sanitize, and again I'm going to add one more package here. Okay, that will be XSS. and that basically stands for cross-site scripting. So that basically means we can again send some scripts, okay, malicious code in the request that we send to our server. To filter them out, we are again going to make use of this other package which is called XSS. Okay, so I'm going to write here const XSS require XSS. Okay, you can read more about it on npm, so let me just show it to you. If you search for XSS, okay, then you can find this search result and you can read more about it. Okay, so this is just going to sanitize the untrusted HTML, okay, that we might get from the user as an input in the request. So that this is going to make sure that that script doesn't that basically body or any params doesn't contain any malicious code, okay, which is going to harm our application. So we can just make use of these two middlewares again. I'm going to write app.use, okay, then just call mongo sanitize here, okay, and similarly app.use, and then use this XSS package that we just imported. Okay, now there is one last thing that is left, and what I'm going to do is to import all of these packages, or basically install all of these packages in our packages. And you can see right now we have only these two dependencies, Express and Morgan. We need to get these other as well. So I'm just going to quickly write here npm I, okay, then this express rate limit, then this package helmet, okay, you can, I'm just basically going to do it quickly, okay, you know what we need to do here. Okay, now you can install all of these, let it finish, then after that we are just going to set up our start script in this package JSON. Okay, so now these packages are installed. There is one last thing, we want our app to be set it up in such a way that whenever I make some change, okay, now after we have implemented all of these packages, I'll have to stop this app. Okay, for that you can press Ctrl+C, okay, on your keyboard. Now after this is stopped, I again have to run this command node server.js, and here you can see we get this error. Okay, it is throwing this error, app.use requires some middleware function. Okay, so we have to resolve it, but as you can see this error was not coming when we were adding all of these lines in our code, right? So what we can do for that, we can just install this package which is called nodemon. Okay, we are just going to install it globally. Okay, then we'll set up a start script here inside our package JSON file. Okay, here I'm just getting this permission denied error. So to fix that on Linux and on Mac, you can just add this sudo keyword at the top of this command. Okay, so I'm just going to again write sudo npm I, then -g, and the name of the package that we want to install. In this case I just have to give my password. Okay, so now this nodemon is installed. Then we are going to go inside this package JSON, then we are going to add one start script here. Okay, so here we can just write nodemon server.js. okay, like this. Let me remove that comma at the end. Now what we are going to do, we just need to write npm run, okay, and then start, the name of the script that we have just set it up. So if I write that, okay, you can see a nodemon process is going to start. So this process was started, but then the application encountered an error. Okay, so that is why this process has stopped, but the nodemon is still listening for any file changes. Okay, so it will restart the app whenever we make any change to our file. Now since our app is set it up, okay, we just need to resolve this error. Let's see where it is going wrong. Okay, so before that I'm just going to actually implement few packages here. Okay, so for that we'll be getting this course. Okay, this is going to come from course package. Okay, we again need to install it, and this course is basically going to allow cross origin requests. That means, like, if our front end is hosted on, let's say, talk.com, okay, and our API is running on api.talk.com, then these two are two different domains. Okay, or you can say subdomains. So if you want to, like, communicate between these, then you have to allow cross origin requests. Okay, so that can be done using this course package. You can find more information about it on npm.js. Okay, now after that, let me just add this middleware, okay, course here. So we're just going to say app.use again, right? And after that we can pass course inside it, and then we need to actually pass some options here. So origin, from where the request is going to originate, that is origin. So we are going to allow every domain to send request to the server. Okay, and for the methods that will be allowed, so there are certain methods, okay, for HTTP request, and we are going to allow these methods. Okay, get, patch, post, okay, delete, and put. We are just going to allow only these 5 methods in the API calls that we'll be receiving, and we'll also be setting this option credentials true. So what this is basically going to do, there is a header named access control allow credentials. Okay, so that is set to false by default, but we are setting it to true. So what it's basically going to do, it is going to tell the browsers to expose the response to our front-end JavaScript code. Okay, so these credentials will consist of the cookies, any authorization header that will be sending back, or any TLS client certificates. Okay, so you don't sweat it if you don't get what I'm talking about. You will be learning it through this course. Okay, let's also actually do one more thing. Yeah, I think this is good to go. Okay, we can just focus on resolving this error then. Right now we are encountering this error, module not found. Okay, but before that, let's see what it's talking about. So on app.js line number 45, as you can see, this is causing the error right now. Okay, app.use express URL encoded. So I'm just going to comment it out for now. Okay, and then we can install our package, okay, that is missing here. So I'm just going to write npm I course that we just implemented. Okay, now after this is done, you can see it's again giving this error on line number 53. So there is actually an order error. Okay, let me restart it again. So this time our app is running successfully. So what I'm basically going to do, I'm just going to place these commands at the top. Okay, let's move it up just after we created our app. Okay, so here I'm going to save it. So there is some issue with this cross scripting package. Okay, others are just working fine. Let me check what is happening here. So make sure we just have to make sure we have installed it. Okay, we can just go and check in our package JSON. Yeah, we have even the correct version. Okay, so I'll look into it. Okay, what's causing this issue, but for now we have set it up our server. Okay, and we have also made it secure. So the next thing that we are going to do here is to create models. Okay, so for that we'll be using this Mongoose. Okay, this is a npm package that you can use, or you can also say it's a ORM. Okay, ORM is basically softwares, okay, piece of software that is going to allow us to communicate to the database through our application. Okay, that is it. And we'll be creating a cluster, okay, in MongoDB. So if you haven't created your MongoDB account yet, I'll request you to do so. Okay, so in the next video we'll be setting up the Mongoose schema, okay, creating our cluster, and then we'll also connect to our database, right? After that we'll start implementing the authentication logic in our server. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Okay, you can post your comments, and I'll encourage you to join the Discord channel. Okay, we have many people joined here, and so that is because if you get into any issue, okay, that can be resolved easily if you join it. So thanks for watching. Okay, I'll see you in the next video, and also make sure to like this video. Okay, I am actually putting so much effort into this. Okay, so that will just encourage me to create more content if you like and share this video, and also comment. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.